Hey folks, welcome to Open's Gaming Den. Today we're going to unbox the game Rebirth by Rainer Knizia. It's sort of like his latest tile placement game published by Mighty Boards. For context, we're looking at the limited edition. So this is sort of like the Kickstarter version that recently got delivered to its backers. There may, again, depending on the version of the game that you get, there may be some differences between what's in this box and the version that you have. But if you do have the, if you are expecting a limited edition copy, this will give you, of course, a full-on idea in terms of what to expect inside the box. But even if you don't, you will at least have a sense on what the components look like and what the look and feel for them, involves. The game is designed for 2 to 4 players, expected to be played in roughly 60 minutes. So pretty, seems like sort of like, it's marketed as a game where it's easy to learn but difficult to master, sort of a context, which holds true for a lot of the Knizia classic titles. So hopefully this is one that lives up to that as well. So without further ado, we can obviously see a little bit of the cover, but I'm going to take the shrink off, crack into it, and then we'll get a better sense of what we have on the inside. So let's go. All right. Okay, so with the shrink off, we can see it's a pretty colorful box, as it were. We can see sort of like folks looking off in the distance in the horizon. Very good level of detail with hopefully the focus works out well enough, but very good level of detail in terms of what we see out here. So artwork on the cover is a little on the generic end, but again, not quite so much, because at first glance you might think, hey, medieval Europe, there's a castle on the mountain and such and such. But then you get to see a windmill over here, and then these things, sort of like flying around. And then greenhouses, well, Middle Eastern, not Middle Eastern, sorry, Middle-aged castles did not have those. So we're going to crack into it and see what's on the inside. But before we go further, quick shout out, Watch It Play does have a tutorial video for this. So if you do want to learn the game, do check that out. I'm not going to be doing a separate tutorial for that because, hey, if Rodney Smith does a tutorial, I'm not going to try and up that one because that may not work out well for me. All right, so let's get going. So the inside of the lid is very nice. You get to see a custom number. I assume this is signed by Knizia himself. There's some nice background going in here. I will say, though, that the lid could have been thicker. This sort of like is definitely on the thinner end. As soon as I was taking it off, that's the first thing that it strikes you, that the lid is a bit thin. But anyway, I'm probably nitpicking on that one a little bit. We have a rule book, which is very bright and colorful and not particularly big. So hopefully, again, typical Knizia sort of like a rule set, rules that are easy to grasp, but, a good level of strategy and depth that comes out from those simple, or relatively simple rule set. We get to see the components. We get to see the setup, which is numbered, which is nice. Gameplay, I can see definitely some visual cues. Final scoring on the 3rd page itself. So, this is interesting. So this is Scotland, and this is Ireland. So it looks like you have different sides of the board, possibly, with different setup rules and different gameplay styles. I mean, different enough for you to have like 2 sections to it, which is very, very interesting. Okay, so I'm excited to try it out again. The rulebook does seem bright and colorful, gives you a lot of visual cues. So hopefully that makes learning the whole thing easier. And hey, if the rules for one side of the game book is like 3 pages, it can't be that bad to pick it up. All right, so we have a lot of, I believe that the game calls it rewood components. So these are not plastic, but not the traditional wood either. These are what they call rewood components. I don't know what this is. Oh, this might be a cloth bag. Okay, so we'll have a look at that. We have 2 duck boxes for Ireland and Scotland. We're going to crack into that as well. You have cards, which are in a plastic, not plastic, sorry, which are in a paper covering, which I really appreciate and like. Then we have some punch outs and the game board. So let's go through this one by one. I'm going to start off with the cards. We'll start small and go big. How about that? All right. So, there we go. Right themselves. Maybe these are the Irish ones. This gives a clover feel. That's sort of like why I'm saying that. But these look like goals or objective cards that you might have in a game, right? So you have most food farms and so on. The English border occupy the most English border spaces. And then these are a little bit different because it looks like you have, I don't know, maybe first and second place stuff. Resolving ties. So 4 reference cards as well, which is quite nice. You get something about how to resolve ties for both sides of the map, and then something about the tile tiles and whatnot. Now, the card stock, because we do want to have a look at that. It's okay. It's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not bad either, so I think that's fine. And I assume the tech box is probably meant for these, so we'll sort these out and put them back inside in a second. Maybe we can tell by looking at the other side. I don't know. There's 2 different types in here, but I'm not sure if that's... Oh, that is, in fact, Ireland and Scotland. So this is Ireland. And then these are Scottish. Okay. Now we know what goes where. That's going to make our life easier. Okay, so we're going to move that off to the side. Let's crack in and see what sort of baggies we have in here. So, okay, so we definitely get multiple cloth bags. How many do we have? I assume it's 1 for each player. So you have deers, we have birds, whale. I think that's a whale as opposed to a dolphin. And then what is that? A fox. So all standard size. These are cloth bags in terms of size. It's not the biggest, but it's, again, depending on what you're putting in it, it's big enough, I assume. But they're pretty decent. They seem thick, sturdy, and certainly aesthetically it looks nice. It's a draw bag. So there you go. So those are these guys. Now we have some cardboard punch outs. I assume these might be points if you double them. Now I do like the thickness on this one. I'll punch a few of these out. These are super chunky. These are very nice. I am very happy with this. The cardboard punch outs they seem pretty excellent. So I'm very happy with this one. We're not going to punch everything out in here. But again, you can tell that, you have these 4 different colored counters, and it looks like there's some differences in between them as well. You have what seems to be, I think these are faction specific, right? You have, yep, you have your whale, you have your deer or reindeer, deer, I think. Yeah, so you have 4 of these. Again, they're very thick, they're very chunky. It was a very satisfying feeling trying to sort of like punch them out. So very, very happy with that. All right, we're going to look at the game board before we go into looking at those rewood components. And something interesting in here. So it's obviously folded up, that's fine. But you can see in here that there's a rounded edge to it. So, yeah, there you go. That's here as well. That's here as well. So it looks like the game board is going to have rounded edges across the side, which, again, aesthetically, certainly, I'm sure will give it a pleasing look. I'm not sure how well it's going to work in practice, but in terms of looks, it certainly should be pretty nice. Now, this side of the map is Scotland. We get to see a points track going all across it. I assume these are reference notations, but then you get to see the hexes on the map with the symbols. I'll just band this across, space for the cards, I assume. And then we can obviously see the edges, which are rounded off in here. So overall, very nice. I mean, the level of detail on the game board is not bad either. Hopefully you guys can make that out. The color scheme is certainly bright and colorful and pops well enough. And then if you flip it over on the other side, you have the Irish side of the game board. Okay, different notations. So there's definitely some differences in rules going on, and just based on the fact that there's two halves of the rule book rather than, you know, sort of like one general explanation of the rules and then one separate sheet that says, hey, by the way, if you play this other map, here's the set of rules to think of, makes me think that there's enough variability or differences in rules between the two sides of the board to make it an interesting choice in terms of which you will play, so to speak. So I'm excited to try that out and see how that works out. So that's the game board. Let's put that aside. Now we're gonna crack into this guy. Now let's see, there is a spot to clear that off, so we're not gonna be all barbaric, but we're not obviously gonna draw out all of them. We're just gonna look at a few of these randomly. These are the orange ones. It's good. The pieces definitely feel very solid. As you look at it, there's not a lot of, well, there's some, okay, so there's some level of detail up at the top. There wasn't a lot on the side, and on the insides these are certainly hollow, but other than the color, the shape and size do seem to be very consistent. And again, I do believe that these are meant to stack. So let's see what the stacking would look like. Can I stack these? Not quite. So maybe they're supposed to stack with different colors. Oh, we'll pick that up in a second. You know what? I'm just going to dump all of these out in here, and we'll have a look. Oh, there we go. Okay. So there are different types of pieces in here. It's not all the same. We have these guys, which are much flatter. As you can see, it looks like there's a door and whatnot. Yeah, so you have these guys. Maybe they interact with these in some way or form. Okay, that seems to be more of a fit. I don't know if that's meant to go there. No, not at the top. I don't think so. I think it's more at the bottom. Yeah, so it's not a fully flat thing, or maybe it's not supposed to stack. Maybe I'm just making that up. Who knows? We do get to see these pieces as well, and I think these are for each of the player colors, so that's nice. Let's see, do we have anything in here that's different from what we have seen? This is another one. I think these might be like the scoring markers that go across the side, and then you have the red one, or the pink one, and I think there's one for orange hiding in here somewhere. Oh, there we go, orange. But yeah, but most of these pieces are basically in these two different sizes. And again, for some reason I have it in my head that they're meant to stack, but maybe I'm imagining it. Who knows? But either ways, I mean, they definitely have a very nice feel to them. They're, I believe, what they're called rewood, which we saw for the very first time. I think it was earlier this year or maybe late last year with the games like Kutnahora and so on, and they definitely were very solid pieces. And these give off a very similar vibe as well. So overall, I'm pretty happy with what I can see. The game board, aesthetically very pleasing. The cardboard punch outs, very thick, very chunky. Very happy with that. Rulebook, bright and colorful, visual aids. Seems relatively easy to get into and learn the rulebook. The wooden components in here are definitely very nice. The draw bag is pretty solid as well. The cards, I mean, maybe if it was thicker stock, but again, as it is, it's not bad. I'm pretty okay with that. Overall, I'm very happy with the production quality of this game, and I think you will be too. Like, lots of pieces for you to play around. And again, hopefully it's an easy rule set to learn, but brings out a lot of good strategy and depth in terms of gameplay as you get through it. That's everything that you get in the box for Rebirth. the limited edition version by designed by Rainer Knizia and published by Mighty Board. That's it. Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed the video, do give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Helps us out quite a bit. And we have more of these videos coming up in the near future, so do subscribe to us and hope to see you soon. Take care.